Let's unbox the Funko Pop vinyl figure of Boba Fett from the Book of Boba Fett live-action series. Varykino. If it's Star Wars, we collect it. Hello there, thanks for visiting Varykino. This past weekend we met Boba Fett himself, Temuera Morrison, at our local Armageddon Expo convention, so to celebrate we'll be unboxing Boba Fett collectibles this week. I'm really excited to be opening up the Funko Pop vinyl figure of Boba Fett as we see him in his very own series, the Book of Boba Fett. He goes through a few costume changes after we first meet him in the Mandalorian series, and by the time he gets his own show, the Book of Boba Fett, he has refined his outfit, and now we have this black flight suit version. So I'm very excited to check this one out and see all of those cool costume details. So thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Coming up really soon, I'll of course take the Funko Pop vinyl figure out of the box so we can check out all of the cool details. But first, let's take one last look at the packaging. Of course, the packaging for the Book of Boba Fett series was going to highlight his iconic green coloring. We can see the green used for the accents here on the packaging, especially behind the character plate here of Boba Fett. We've got a bit of a Tatooine landscape here in the banner, and the red color from his helmet is used here for the number circle 480. He is a little bit dark here in the box. Of course, his flight suit is black, and we've got a dark colored insert behind the figure, so it's a little bit hidden. I think he's definitely going to look a little bit better out of the box. Bit of a shame if you do like to keep your Funkos in their packaging. I think this one's going to look better out. Down the side, we've got a little peekaboo moment here of Boba Fett's helmet, the character name here, Boba Fett, and the number 480. On the back, of course, we get a little bit more of that fabulous orange-toned Tatooine landscape here, and the Book of Boba Fett series logo here. This initial wave only included 2 figures. We can see 480 for Boba Fett himself and 481 for Fennec Shand. I really like the insert picture here of Boba Fett. We can see his stance with his blaster rifle, and of course, I do have the Fennec Shand to match. I'm very excited. I'm going to be opening up her in a little while so I can finally get these two on display together. On the other side, we have a nice clear picture of the full pose for this particular figure, with his blaster pistol in his right hand and his blaster rifle in his left hand. I like the fact that we've got his little bit of a fabric robe blowing there behind him, this fantastic Tatooine landscape behind him with his daimyo sort of castle there behind him. Very nice. The green coloring coming in there very nicely for the border around this art, and the red behind the number 480. I think that looks really nice. Quite tempted to have the box displayed like this behind him. Sometimes I have the boxes facing this way. I really like the art on this side. I think this is my favorite panel of the box. So there we go, that's the packaging. Let's get this one out. I like that little peekaboo helmet there on the top as well. I'm going to open this one from the underside. You can see I just have a little bit of a ding here to the cardboard box, and if anything goes wrong with the cardboard, it's going to be hidden when it's on display. So I like to open my Funkos from the underside. Let's pull out this tray here, and we can finally see what that dark insert card was behind the figure. So if I pull that all the way out, we can see we have this dark green insert card with the emblem that is on Boba Fett's chest armor. I think that is a fun one. For the Mandalorian series, we have the mythosaur skull against an orange background, which gives it a bit more brightness. But of course, for Boba Fett, we had to have that iconic green color, even if it does make the packaging a little bit dark. So just going to pop that off to the side, because now we can get the figure out of the plastic tray. So here we go, going to get his helmet all the way out. And now I can see all of his details. So let's clear this packaging away so we can take a better look. Now I have the Boba Fett pop vinyl figure out of the packaging. I can already see a lot of fabulous detail to this figure. I really like his outfit from the Book of Boba Fett. When we see Boba Fett in the original trilogy, he has a very pale flight suit worn under his armor. But I really like the story that we see Boba Fett go through in the Book of Boba Fett with his time with the Tusken Raider tribe. So I really like the dark flight suit he has in his new version. There is something about it that kind of reminds me of his family tree of the clone troopers wearing the black undersuit under their armor. It kind of feels like there's a little bit of a nod to that going on with this version. Of course, when we first saw Boba Fett in the original trilogy, we didn't know he was going to be so connected to the clones of the Clone Wars that Obi-Wan speaks about. So I really like the way everything is really tied in well. Of course, this does make him a little bit of a darker figure in the packaging, but I do particularly like all of the details now that I can see them better in the light. So let's go through all of it. Of course, we have to look at his helmet, his iconic helmet. There is a lot of fabulous detail here. He does repaint his helmet. It obviously gets quite scratched up after his time in the Sarlacc pit. In chapter 15 of the Mandalorian series, we see that Boba Fett has finally repainted his armor now that he has it back. By the time we see him in the Book of Boba Fett, he's gone through a little bit more. He's gotten a bit more damage to his helmet since he repainted it. So we've got this really cool battle damage here, this silver weathering. I like this kind of line across the visor here. And of course, he still has his iconic dent there, a little bit more weathering, and we've got some silver detailing there. We've got the orange stripes down the side, lovely silver details here, the painted little bit down the back, a little bit more weathering, and of course his visor, nice and black and shiny, and his rangefinder with some nice painted detail there. Black at the top. Just turning it around, I saw a tiny little bit of a paint flaw here. We've got some orange paint there at the end. I don't think that is intentional. It's kind of a slightly odd placement there, but it is towards the back. It's where I'm generally not going to see it when it's on display. Now we can see his iconic Mandalorian armor. We've got some silver weathering. We've got some detail points. We've got that logo there on the chest, silver accent for the iron heart there in the middle. And of course, he has that mythosaur skull design on his yellow shoulder armor there as well. Some really nice metallic paint here on his gauntlet. And I like this dark metallic finish here on his blaster rifle. I think it's really fun that they posed him with both weapons out. It just sort of makes him look ready for anything. His other hand is holding his blaster pistol, again with that same fabulous dark metallic finish. We've got some very nice tidy painting here on his other gauntlet. We've even got those little tube details running up behind his arm to his other yellow shoulder piece there. So again, nice gold details here on his belt, little tiny holster there. Of course, this holster is way too small to fit this blaster pistol, but of course that is the Funko proportions for you. The helmets are always very, very oversized compared to the rest of them. We've got his very vibrant yellow knee armor. More little metallic details here on the side, and he has this more browner boot spat color here with dark colored boots. Just absolutely fantastic. I love that they've got all of his iconic armor details there. They really do pop against that black undersuit there, and I really like the pose. We've got the standard Funko Star Wars base here. He is permanently attached, and we have the Star Wars logo in silver. Pretty tidy, looks nice there. Moving on to the back, there is a lot of detail here, which of course is completely hidden in the box. Boba Fett's jetpack in the original trilogy has quite some striking color stripes, predominantly blue-white with a sort of yellow mustard color. When he repaints his armor in the Mandalorian series, he paints it fully green. Now in the Book of Boba Fett, he has repainted some of it again with blue, which I like. That's a kind of a nod back to the blue coloring that he has in the original trilogy. So we now have a lot of blue here. It also feels like a little bit of a nod to Jango Fett as well. Obviously his armor has a lot of blue tones to it. So I like that sort of nod. Of course, he does reference his history there with Jango Fett when he reclaims his armor. And another element that you really can't see from the front is the fabulous texture on his section of robe here. I like that he still keeps a little bit of fabric flowing down behind his jetpack, a little bit of a nod to his time with the Tusken Raider tribe, and I really wasn't expecting this fabulous texture there. That really caught me by surprise. I was expecting just sort of a glossy plain plastic there. I really like that texture, and we can see all of the fabulous little silver details. There's even a little bit of red striping here, a lot of little silver details going on in that jetpack. It's just a lot of detail. I'm always impressed with how much Funko manages to fit on what is quite a cartoony, stylized design. They still try and keep as much of the accurate costume details as possible for their style. And I'm quite impressed that they actually managed to sort of fit everything in here with this pose. The end of his blaster rifle is just touching the edge of his jetpack here, but it all kind of fits. The one thing that's kind of missing is the top rocket from his jetpack. It would be sticking up under his neck here. So that bit is missing, but he does use it in the show. So perhaps this moment is when he has recently fired it, though of course that doesn't really work. It would just fire straight up under his helmet. But you know, this is a Funko Pop. We're not really going to get too caught up on accuracy here. Obviously, we've got a very oversized helmet. From the front, we can't see that, and he looks pretty cool. I really like the pose. I love this weathering here on the helmet, the way he's got his blasters drawn. I think it looks really cool. I was not expecting that texture detail in the back. We've even got a little bit of a weathering along the edge here, just to give it a little bit of a really interesting fabric texture. No glue residue around the feet. That's always nice. Overall, I'm really loving this Funko Pop. I think he's really cool. I really enjoyed the Book of Boba Fett series. I want more merchandise from the show. I'm hoping to see more characters done across the merchandise lines, like Funko Pop vinyls, Hasbro's Black Series, and vintage collection lines of action figures as well. There are so many characters that I'm still crossing my fingers that we will get in merchandise form, like Garza Fwip. I thought she was absolutely amazing. I want her in merchandise to be able to add to my Star Wars collection. So, of course, this is the very first Funko I had to open from my Book of Boba Fett line of Funko Pop vinyl figures. Had to start out with the man himself. Now I'm very excited to open up Fennec Shand and some of the other ones that I've got stored away. Of course, I had to open up a Boba Fett first. I think he looks absolutely fantastic. I have a few others from the Mandalorian series, so I'm looking forward to getting them all lined up and comparing the costume details through all of his different versions there. If you're a Boba Fett fan, it's a great time to be a Boba Fett collector. There's just so many different versions of him out there, dating all the way back to the original trilogy era. There is just so much fun merchandise of this iconic character. And there's something about his helmet that just works so well in this sort of a bobblehead form. We've just got that iconic visor shape. Oh, just fantastic. It's always fun when you're really hoping that you really like a collectible, when you finally open it and it exceeds your expectations. I think this one's just fantastic. I'm always a little bit worried with some of the Funko figures that have a lot of painted details that something might be a little bit off. You know, there might be something that's kind of splodged somewhere, but overall, I'm very happy with the painting. Even those little emblems on the shoulders look very tidy. Everything just looks fantastic. So I am very happy with this one. Very happy to have it in my collection. So thank you so much for hanging out with me today as I opened up another Star Wars collectible and had a lot of fun. I hope you have a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are in the galaxy. And let's hang out again very soon for more Star Wars fun. May the Force be with you. If you're a Funko fan, I recently unboxed the Boba Fett and Fennec on the Throne deluxe scene. That video is linked here in case you haven't already seen it, as well as a whole Funko unboxing playlist. This is the way.